Have you ever been out for a drink and thought to yourself, you know, this bar would be so much better if everyone here was a middle-aged newspaper columnist obsessed with people's genitals? Well, have I got a bar for you?
Feminist campaigner Jenny Watson, she's opened Britain's first lesbian members bar, available only to biological women. We're delighted she joins us now in the studio.
Thank you.
Have you opened yet, Jenny?
No, we haven't. So it's hoping to open later in this year.
Okay, have you got a name for the bar yet?
L Community.
The letter of the day is L. It's the letter of the day.
Right.
So, first of all, I couldn't think of a name, and I thought, okay, let's just get to the strategical work, and we'll put a little, a quick name. And I thought, it's going to be a community space, so just L Community. We'll go back to it later on, and then it just stuck.
This is a capital L.
People are fed up.
Yeah.
I think they're very, very fed up, and I think the tide is turning at the moment, so...
We should get J.K. Rowling to open the bar. Because
Whoa, yeah, that would be nice, you know?
Women-only spaces. She's not gay, of course, but...
Yeah. But she's a supporter of the lesbians, you know, so... Yeah.
That's right. This week's edition of the Daily Telegraph, the only newspaper in Britain so desperate for ad money it'll team up with even the desperate grifters in the gender-critical movement for cash, is sponsored by a new woman-only bar called L Community. L Community. Take the L. I'm assuming that's what the slogan for this ad is. The marketing copy they sent us is just a giant picture of J.K. Rowling burning a trans flag, so, I've got to do some sort of interpretation for this. Don't you worry though, viewers, because we take our L seriously at the Daily Telegraph. As Dan often says to me in between catonic streams, all of our losses is lessons. And in that spirit, I did a little bit of investigating into this so-called bar. Is it actually a bar? No. How will they check their attendees aren't dirty transgenders? Don't worry about it. Isn't this a breach of the Equality Act? Not if their obsessive movement overturns the Equality Act. Aha! See? They've got everything figured out. I'm sure this bar will definitely open, and won't be another in a long line of grifts thought up by people desperate to siphon money out of this increasingly gullible cult. After all, this isn't even the first woman-only bar that excludes trans women to open. It's not even the first one in London. But I'm sure that's still fine, and that explicitly denying entry to clientele is a great way to keep your business afloat. But who am I to be advertising this clearly genius idea to you? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm, of course, Bridget Empire, science and culture correspondent for this here newspaper. I put the L in columnist, and according to my brief but fruitful investigation of this extremely legitimate business, I think I can probably walk right into this trans-exclusionary bar, despite also putting the T in also columnist. Dan, can I have another job title? Can't Graham take this one? If his soul's going to be stuck in this office forever, it might as well be put to use. No? Okay, well, according to some kind of parallel universe nightmare newspaper called the Daily Telegraph, doesn't sound real to me. Anyway, according to those weirdos, lesbian bar will permit only biological women. A feminist campaigner is to open Britain's first lesbian members bar that will only allow biological women to join. The bar, named the L Community, Jesus fucking Christ, is due to open in London later this year and will operate as a private members club so that it can bar trans women from signing up. See what I did there? The bar has been set up by Jenny Watson, who in September last year was at the centre of a transphobia row, after she insisted that only adult human females could attend the lesbian speed dating events she had organised, and urged men to stay away. Miss Watson, 32, had posted on her website from the College Arms dating night in the capital at the time, "If you are male, please refrain from coming to the events. You are not a lesbian." She previously claimed one person had turned up to an event she ran, sporting a purple latex outfit and an erection. She also claimed a trans woman had entered the female toilets and pushed their body at a woman who became upset. I'm sure this definitely really happened, and that it wasn't entirely made up. Famously, trans people just walk around wearing latex and pushing their boners at people, and don't in fact just act like, normal people. Hell, a lot of us don't get boners at all. I've got one of them vagina things, and if I tried to push one of those at people, I believe, scientifically, that would be called a prolapse.
There's something that is going on here that is not biologically normal.
Anyway, this Jenny Watson person is obviously cool and normal. After all, her Twitter banner says, "Men are not lesbians, ever." Something normal people definitely care about, and care about so much they put it as their whole fucking banner. And her bio states very clearly, "I'm a woman, not cis." So clearly she's a trans woman. Woo, sister! Oh, what a relief. Here I was thinking she was transphobic, just because she clearly wants to exclude all trans people from a very real and very normal bar, which is definitely a bar and not a private members club, and is also definitely not a grift designed to siphon money from your nan. She's also famous, well, not famous, notorious in the community she's targeting with this bar, and no one else, for hosting a lesbian speed dating event in a pub, getting permission to ban what they call biological men from this dating event.
We've had a lot of trans-identified males show up at our events.
A happening that also got her another write-up in the Daily Telegraph. No relation. Unless some kind of Spider-Verse thing is happening, in which case, if you're me from the other universe, step the fuck up. I've got the power of zombie editors on my side, and the supervillain that's just Graham Linehan with the Raimi-era Green Goblin mask photoshopped on the top of him. I'll fucking crush you. Anyway, it's clear from all this coverage how horribly silenced the gender-critical movement has been. Only 2 articles in major newspapers for the same person doing the same woe-is-me routine while succeeding in being bigoted within the confines of the law. Famously, trans people get much more positive attention, and aren't in fact the victims of a decades-long smear campaign designed to give us closets or give us death. I, of course, had 3 Daily Telegraph columns just this week. Jenny Watson, though, is a cool and normal person. Just so you know, she's so cool and normal, in fact, that she's written her plan for this openly discriminatory lesbian bar on Graham Linehan's Substack. No, keep away. The Glinner update. Like normal people who aren't cultists do. Anyway, Jenny's dating event was eventually cancelled, in response to which she posted this tweet. "Dicks allowed. Disappointing. Citing safety concerns for staff." In her Telegraph article, Watson is quoted as saying, "In effect, we have 0 lesbian bars in a country of almost 70 million. And that's not entirely wrong, though not in the way that she means it. The sad truth of the matter is that gay spaces are on the decline, and lesbian spaces even more so. According to Pink News, there are now only 3 permanent lesbian bars remaining across the country, due to increasing rent costs and the changes to people's habits and the economy following the pandemic. However, according to the owner of one of these bars, it's essential these places are safe spaces for all LGBTQ+ people. And if we're honest with ourselves, it's not a great business plan to exclude quite a large subsection of your already very small client base, just, economically speaking. On top of this, cisgender lesbians are the demographic most welcoming to trans and non-binary people, as Pink News points out, citing a YouGov poll from August 2023. In fact, 68% of cis lesbians hold a very positive view of trans people. So, if we're being generous, Jenny's bar will represent 32% of the British lesbian community at most, which is spread across the entire country. We're not a city-state. So, it's probably a good thing for her that this isn't looking very much like a public bar, and is instead a private members club. In fact, the fact that it is a private members club is essential to its operation, since only a private members club can legally restrict access to cisgender women only, since obviously public spaces are subject to anti-discrimination laws, but the government can't force you to invite anyone and everyone into a private group. But then, if it is a private members club, how the hell is it going to make money? To do that, it would need the help of, a billionaire benefactor completely bankrolling the whole project. And who could you possibly get on board to do that? Anyway, you might well be asking, how is this possibly enforceable? How are you going to make sure that people entering this L community aren't one of those detestable transes? After all, genital checks? That's probably not legal. And if it is legal, it's creepy as fuck, and I don't think most people are up for getting fondled by a security guard just to go get a drink. They can go to Wetherspoons and get fondled by a patron for much cheaper, and without the threat of getting kicked out if your genitals aren't up to code. Maybe ID then? Well, England doesn't have national ID, so you'd have to use a passport, driver's license, or, in a last-ditch effort to find a form of ID that's hard to change, a birth certificate. The thing is, you can change your passport and driving license sex with a doctor's note from the gender clinic. I, in fact, wasn't allowed to take a drop of estrogen until all of my ID was switched over and my name was changed. So I was walking around with ID that had my sex marked as female, with me looking like Jack Black with a meth addiction. And that's all because of ridiculous gatekeeping rules that these people are pushing to make worse, and that were there to please these fucking people in the first place. So, birth certificates then? Well, I personally haven't changed that, because you need a gender recognition certificate for that, and that involves a lot of time, money, and getting a panel of gender experts to look over years of documentation with, I believe, one piece of unique documentation for every 3 months of your transition, which could be literal decades, to decide whether you are trans enough to then change just your gender marker on your birth certificate. You can, in fact, as ridiculous as it is, and as difficult as it is, get a gender recognition certificate and have all of your ID be female with no trace. So, genital checks? Even then, you can get surgery to change that. I have, so what now? Well, the thing is, right now, these rules are completely unenforceable, and if this were a public bar and not a private members club, this would also run against the Equality Act. The thing is, the gender critical movement has an answer to this problem, because they're bringing legal challenges against legislation that could have knock-on effects on and represent the start of a legal precedent to take down the Gender Recognition Act and the Equality Act, and get them changed. And wouldn't you know it, J.K. Rowling openly donated £70,000 of her own money to such a cause. So everyone in my audience that bought Hogwarts Legacy, hi, I hope it was worth it, because you paid for this. And thanks to all the support, Rishi Sunak is making noises about making equalities laws more transphobic too, as has opposition leader Keir Starmer. Britain's a great place to live, guys. Everyone go to Britain. So let's see where all that Harry Potter merchandise money went. Author J.K. Rowling has reportedly donated £70,000 to an anti-trans group's long-running battle over the illegal definition of the word woman. Rowling reportedly pledged the money to a crowdfunding campaign on behalf of For Women Scotland, which raised a legal challenge over the definition of the word woman in the 2018 Gender Representation on Public Boards Act. The legislation aims to ensure public boards have a 50% women gender balance in non-executive member positions, and it includes a definition of the word woman that is inclusive of trans women who have a gender recognition certificate. For Women Scotland argued including trans women in this definition would impact women's rights and expressed concerns about wider implications of single-sex spaces, but that was bollocks. The anti-trans pressure group lost an appeal at the Court of Session in November. On Friday, the 16th of February, the Women Scotland announced that they had been granted permission to appeal the decision to the UK Supreme Court. The group quickly set up a crowd justice fundraiser to cover legal costs of the appeal. Shortly after the crowdfunding campaign was launched, J.K. Rowling donated £70,000 to For Women Scotland, according to reports by The Times, The Telegraph, Scottish Daily Express, and the Daily Mail. Of course, if these challenges succeed, you could see similar challenges being mounted to chip away at other rights using this as precedent. Not to make a slippery slope fallacy argument here, but this is how you end up doing away with legal protections against discrimination, bit by bit, until your racist Uncle John can put his No Blacks, No Irish sign back up in his pub, and your local Sainsbury's stops serving gay people because the manager doesn't recognise homosexuality as a valid category to be protected under the law. Until that day comes, however, either this business operates as a private members club and not a business, or the government recognises that they're presenting this club as a business and acting like it is open to the public, in which case they will have to conform to the anti-discrimination laws that, for now, are still a part of UK law. And since this is the case, I took the liberty of asking this so-called L community themselves how they plan to enforce this. Luckily for me, their website looks like this, and they have a little chatbot with which you can ask all sorts of questions and get no clear answer. Clearly this is a website for a bar, despite the lack of venue information, or anything besides vaguely anti-trans dog whistles and a front end that looks like it's copy and pasted from a private dentist or an insurance company. I suppose that's not fair. Under the About section on the website, there is a giant blue heading that says Physical Bar Access. which does insist physical membership will allow you to access the physical bar area. But where is the bar? Don't worry about it. And in lieu of a menu, the normal headline that all bars, I'm assuming, have on their websites, "Cheers to delicious beverages," lists several drinks as examples of what you can drink, but with no attached menu and no prices. Just like a legitimate business would. Don't worry though, they may not have a physical location, or any events, or a menu, but what they have thought about, the important things. Like this tab on their website just labelled, "What is a woman?" which I'm assuming is something that all bars have on the website, and that isn't just to tell that this is a scam for people so infested with brainworms that their eyeballs are just a bunch of nematodes clumped together. This cool and normal bar, in this section of the website, states that in humans, biological sex is firmly linked distinct... Maybe I should read some Matt Berry. Let me start over. I think this would be better with Matt Berry. In humans, biological sex is firmly linked to distinct reproductive anatomies, dedicated to producing sperm or eggs for reproduction. At birth, human reproductive anatomy is unmistakably male or female in over 99.98% of cases. Which is exactly the kind of information I need when I'm looking to find out whether this lovely bar serves food. Just so helpful and, totally necessary. Not at all creepy and weird. On this page, however, you do get a bit of the important stuff. Not about having a bar or anything, God no, but about how to determine who enters the club. I mean bar. Dismissing empirical facts due to the demands of some effectively puts same-sex attracted women back into the closet. Hence, rejecting these notions, our venue will exclusively allow membership to women, adult human females, to ensure safety and respect in our spaces. We require accurate information during the application process, and the club retains the authority to decline or withdraw membership if applicants do not meet the above criteria. So, that's not at all vague. I'm glad my question's been answered. Just in case though, I have this friendly chatbot, which all bars definitely have, with the hope of having my questions clarified, or at least answered in a way that's not just a big shrug in text form. Welcome to L Community. How can we help you? Hello. I was just wondering how you determine whether your members are real women. We require accurate information during the application process, and the club retains the authority to decline or withdraw membership if applicants do not meet the criteria of being women, adult human females. What kind of information? We require accurate information to verify the identity and gender of the applicants during the application process. This may include personal identification documents or other relevant information. Like what? Passports? Birth certificates? We require accurate information to verify the identity and gender of the applicants during the application process. This may include personal identification documents such as passports or other relevant information. But what if someone has changed their sex on their passport? That's currently legal. We understand that legal challenges to identification documents can occur. However, we require accurate information to verify the identity and gender of the applicants during the application process. If there are specific concerns or inquiries regarding this, we recommend reaching out to our support team for further assistance. Since this was incredibly vague and gave me no answers, and I wasn't about to give these weirdos my email, I have to assume they don't have an answer to this extremely simple question, which is, I might remind you, the entire premise of their business. So right now it seems that the L community's answer for how are you going to enforce this no trans women rule is, don't worry about it. Which I find very reassuring, and not at all emblematic of an organisation that never thought through the optics of calling themselves L Community. So the website can't help us out here, and legally they can't do anything more than open a private members club while staying within the law. But even then, how are they going to enforce this? Well, we have a clue. Jenny Watson, who, remember, is the mastermind of this entire operation, the woman who puts the L in Lesbian bar, said just how she figured they'd enforce their policies on the 25th September 2023 on twitter.com in a reply to someone else. A very official way to state your business policies. I wonder why the clarifications to these questions are on Elon Musk's burning pile of tires and cum rather than on, your website. Or the multiple articles covering your business venture. Jenny said, with a little winky emoji, so you know it's official business. We will enlist our own medical professionals to conduct comprehensive head-to-toe examinations. Following that, individuals will be provided with mouth swabs for self-collection, which they can then send back to us. The samples will then be dispatched to a lab by us and will patiently await the results, a process taking approximately 2 to 4 months. Additionally, x-rays will be administered by our skilled staff behind the bar. Winky face! So, I take it that means that you don't think you'll need to do anything? I'm telling you right now, if this bar decides if you're a woman or not, based on the whole we can always tell shtick, they're going to be open for a world of legal trouble. Because these people have a long track record of kicking butch women out of toilets and other women's spaces for being men, whereas I could probably just walk right in. No karyotype test needed. Either that or she's serious, in which case, you know, I thought I made bad financial decisions, but I'm starting to feel like Martin fucking Lewis over here. Honestly though, the thing that bugs me most about this is that the chronic decline of lesbian spaces, and queer spaces in general, is a massive problem, both in the UK and worldwide. By framing this issue as the fault of trans people, or a problem that's solved by banning trans people from queer spaces, you just guarantee that this decline only continues or gets worse. Lesbians and trans people are super close-knit communities. These people are a minority. They are not the people who should be deciding the future of how lesbian spaces look. And if they are, they'll end up driving away the vast majority of lesbians that support trans people, leading to a lower attendance in lesbian spaces, and thus further decline. The future for lesbian spaces is inclusive, just like the lesbian community is. And they need help. That much is true. Rents are extortionate, especially in city centres where bars tend to be, and they tend to be the best places for a small community to gather from all around a metropolitan area. This is a problem that needs real solutions, and a problem that I and many trans people feel very strongly about. It needs real attention, a real movement behind it, not to be co-opted as yet another setting for the continuing fight to exclude trans people, and not by the kind of people who include political lesbians and not trans lesbians. Transphobes might not like it, but a lot of trans lesbians date cis lesbians. Who are you to tell someone they can't bring their girlfriend to the one gay bar for miles? Well, I know who you are. You're a person with multiple write-ups in famously homophobic newspaper The Daily Telegraph. You're no friend to the lesbian community. In fact, if you're fighting to exclude trans people, just statistically, you're acting against the wishes of the vast majority of lesbians. So enjoy hanging out with Julie Bindel, but don't you dare co-opt this struggle to further your own bigotry. So, good luck with your L community. And to the rest of you, huge dub. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. If you like this video, why not like it, leave a comment, subscribe, and tell your friends about it. I am, unfortunately, quite poor right now, so if you have a few coins burning a hole in your pocket and you hate to see a tran like me down on the luck, why not help me get out of my massive, horrifying overdraft and send me some money? You can give me one-time donations on Ko-fi or PayPal, links below as always, or better yet, sign up to my Patreon, where you get early videos, access to the members-only Discord, my Nintendo Switch friend code, and exclusive content, such as long-form interviews with Princess Weeks, Rosenkreuz, and Jessie Gender. In addition to all of that good stuff, you'll also, if you sign up, get your name read out at the end of each video, just like these lovely people. Brian, John N., Scully, Jan, Lloyd Luciente, Stephanie, Jason Cribbett, Shield Thaden, Robin Podolsky, Exploding Turtle, Casual Observer, Terry Roberts, Manta Ray, Courtney Burmack, Sleepy Slug, Philippa Tabrogga, Belligerent Kitten, Soma Piglet, Brain Douche, Artie Wolf, Hayden Gaylor, Greg Noble, Deanna McMillan, Caroline Regalado, Alexandra Lilly, PJ Lisborough, Howard Lott, Lara Van Loon, Nerania Scarjan, and Joey Cobalt. You guys have helped me so much recently. I talk about being poor on here a lot because I am. I couldn't do any of this without my patrons, so thank you so much for all of you. And anyone who wants to join them, I will owe you the entire world. Oh, also, while you're here, my brother is releasing new music. he's genuinely incredible. Like, he's got a great voice, great talent as a songwriter. You'd like him, like you personally. I know it. If I've met you, yes. If not, also yes. Just look him up. He's Sundile. That's Sundile, wherever music is streamed. And if you go and enjoy what you hear, leave a comment and tell them I sent you. I'll leave a little taster right here so you can, well, have a taste. Maybe I can only see me and you.
L community.